Nearly all districts in our area have dropped their mask mandates, but now the question is, should masks still be required for unvaccinated students? I'm Chris Warner. We'll hear from a local health expert and from a local school district on what their thoughts are on how the plan should look going forward.
Some of the nation's top clay shooters bring their skills to Southeast Kansas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
As vaccine trials expand to younger children, there's discussion on whether unvaccinated students should be required to mask up. This is KOAM News at 6. KOAM's Chris Warner spoke with one local school district and a health official and has more.
School is out for the summer, save summer school, and districts are already looking ahead to the fall by looking back at what they've learned. One of those things is the effectiveness of masks against things beyond the coronavirus.
If something else happens, hopefully not as bad as this pandemic, that potentially masks could help slow down the spread of germs.
The challenge districts are facing is whether or not to mandate masks for unvaccinated students for the upcoming year. In Carthage, they are testing a voluntary mask policy right now.
During our summer school right now, we're experimenting not wearing masks, and so far things are going well. We're in our second week. We have not had any type of spike. We don't have any positive cases right now.
Mercy's infectious disease preventionist Donna Stokes says there's two sides to the mandate coin. One, the impact on students' mental and social health. The other, their safety.
What the research is showing us is that in those age groups, yes, they can get COVID. The illness seems to be less severe with less severe complications.
Stokes says she expects masking to vary across the region.
I know that different states and even different school districts are already starting to try and make that decision. What are they going to do with those grade school age children when school starts?
As for Carthage, they're already prepped for the fall.
I think we'll always have a voluntary option to wearing a mask. Some parents might feel like it's the best thing for their child. We will not require it unless something happens.
In Carthage, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Stokes says it's going to be important for local districts to stay in close communication with their local health officials and to be prepared to pivot to mask mandates on short notice. Now, today's KOAM News Now Instapoll question, we're asking, do you think unvaccinated kids should wear masks when they return to school? You can participate in the Instapoll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live and we're going to check in on them, the final results at the end of this newscast. Oklahoma State Treasurer Randy McDaniel says Oklahoma's economy is recovering from the pandemic downturn, with revenue collections in May 34% higher than May of 2020. McDaniel today said the state collected $1.24 billion in May. That's more than $300 million more than the same month a year ago. McDaniel said the economy is being spurred as quarantines are lifted and businesses reopen, releasing pent-up demand for goods and services. McDaniel said the strongest indicator of increased economic activity is sales and use tax collections that increased 26% from last year. Some sun, some rain, some clouds, some blue skies, a bit of everything out there, Nick.
And despite it all, Dal, no matter what people saw today, everybody had a pretty warm afternoon with at least lower to middle 80s for afternoon highs. We've been watching some darkening skies across parts of Joplin. In fact, once you hop west of range line, you did have a random shower skirt across the northern and western sides of Joplin, but that's pretty much what we're dealing with to start the evening out. Just widely scattered showers, including a good one with a moderate downpour around Golden City. For the time being, though, outside of that area of rain, everyone else is partly cloudy and warm to start the evening out. Fortunately, no severe weather to worry about. That's being, once again, kept away and into parts of the deep south. As far as temperatures go, some spots around 80 on the cooler end of things, if you want to call it that, and everyone else as warm as 86 and even 87 degrees out in Neodesha. Once we get past sunset, the rain chances will taper off. We'll fall through the 80s, 70s, and I'm thinking upper 60s for tonight, Dal. But despite some rain chances trying to hold on, we're going to definitely heat things up by the coming weekend. We'll break down the forecast here in a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Nick. A Kansas, Oklahoma man is dead following a crash on Oklahoma 10 at Hidden Valley Road. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol says 68-year-old Terrell Parvin ran his Jeep off the road and down an embankment. Parvin was thrown 15 feet from his vehicle. He died at the scene. The Kansas Highway Patrol says a single vehicle crash near Prescott killed a 20-year-old Mound City man. It happened on East 300. The Highway Patrol says Aaron Goodall's tire slipped off the road and his truck overturned. Goodall died at the scene. Still ahead, some of the best clay shooters in the world are testing their skills right here in the 4 states. And we learn about a road trip that'll give participants a chance to learn about some of the hidden gems in southeast Kansas. Clay shooting competitors get their shot. Clay shooters from 45 states and 4 foreign countries are in southeast Kansas for the U.S. Open of clay shooting. Claythorne Lodge, west of Columbus, hosts the event and says it brings in some of the best shooters in the world. But it's open to all shooters in all classes. An organizer says the location has a lot going for it.
I came here to try to help see what they could do to make this facility capable of holding the U.S. Open. And one of the biggest things that they had going for them was the terrain here, and even more importantly, the community with Columbus and Joplin and all the surrounding communities here.
Organizers say the event will have more than 1,000 participants, including more than 24 world and national champions and a member of the U.S. Olympic team. The lodge expects to throw more than 1.3 million targets. That event runs through Sunday. The Kansas Sampler Foundation is inviting Kansans on a road trip to help promote the state. The Big Kansas Road Trip will visit communities all across the Sunflower State, including those in Crawford, Cherokee, and Bourbon counties. A meeting today in Crawford County was intended to prepare the area for the event. It won't be rolling through until May of next year. The road trip is an open house of sorts, a chance for visitors to see the participating communities as they really are.
We really just want the citizens to be aware of this, to be friendly, to be welcoming. We don't need parades and food concessions, and we just want to let the public come into the community as it is.
This is the 4th year for the Big Kansas Road Trip. Pittsburgh will be the largest community along the trip since its inception. Later, former Chiefs assistant coach Britt Reed enters a plea on drunk driving charges related to a crash that left a child with severe brain injuries.
Plus, we were definitely warm today, and we'll start to push a little hot by the coming weekend. Forecast up next. It's the same story for yet another day. A dry start this morning, a mild start this morning, but everybody had a warm afternoon despite our stubborn upper level low, even though it's spinning mainly across the St. Louis area working into southern Illinois, giving us another afternoon of widely scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms. Thankfully, nothing strong, nothing severe. That was never the worry with this persistent upper level low, but we still are holding on to some of these showers and a couple little thunderstorms out there to start the 6 o'clock hour out. Not a lot on the Kansas side. You really have to go into southwestern Missouri once you go south of Bates County. A few showers around Drywood, Sheldon, Stockton Lake, Golden City, and close to Red Oak as you work down 97 into Lawrence County. And a couple moderate downpours around Carytown, Brooklyn Heights, Carterville, and almost to the east of Oronogo. So some of them are still out there. Despite that, we still managed to keep warm today. At least the lower 80s yesterday, upper 60s for a mild start this morning, and so far we've hit 85 as the warmest number out of Joplin Regional so far. Our 7th rangeline camera showing Joplin mainly dry, especially from this vantage point, but keeping an eye on those showers that certainly look impressive from a good distance away. 83 in Joplin, feels like 87 though, with the dew point sitting at a kind of soupy 70 degrees. And that's the case for much of the area, whether you're in the lower 80s like Guyola and Fort Scott or almost upper 80s like Chanute and Fredonia at 87. You factor in the humidity, it feels like 92 in the Odyssey, 87 in Miami, 85 in Carthage. Fortunately, these numbers are going to come on down once we lose the sun. And not only that, we'll lose any of the random shower and thunderstorm chances. We'll fall through the 80s, 70s through the evening, down to the upper 60s later on tonight. Wider picture shows we're not the only one dealing with these rain and thunderstorm chances again. Still watching a good complex of storms, still rotating across the deep south. But not a lot at the surface is triggering these thunderstorms. The only thing I'm watching is our front. Even though it's been stuck to our north and west for the past several days, it might try to make a run at us to dry things out by early next week. In the short term, though, this upper level low still in control, trying to hold on to rain chances for a few more days. Then that upper ridge building in Mexico. That's what's really going to bring an early taste of summer heat our way over the next few days. So again, here's 11 o'clock tonight. Again, we lose the sun, we lose the rain chances. So we'll be dry for the overnight, and we'll try and do it again tomorrow. Partly sunny skies for the afternoon and a few isolated showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms too. 69 in the morning, 83 by noon, and definitely warmer with highs pushing near 88 degrees. Fast forward to Wednesday night, Thursday morning, looking quiet overall. Near 70 to start your Thursday morning out and pushing into the upper 80s. And some of you, I would not be surprised if you hit 90 before Thursday afternoon is all said and done, all because of this upper level ridge really starting to build in. But as one upper level system passes to the north, we'll see if we can get any complexes of thunderstorms that come at us Friday and Saturday. But overall, going into early next week, it's all about that upper level ridge building in, keeping us dry for early next week to start things out. But it's going to feel like summer by then. 88 tomorrow, 89 Thursday, near 90 for much of this weekend, and trying to push into the lower 90s, certainly by Sunday and Monday now.
That'll be officially hot, for sure.
Yes, it will.
Thanks, Nick. Still ahead, a family says they're thankful that justice has been served following the sentencing of a Kansas City man convicted in the murders of 2 women. A Missouri man is sentenced in the deaths of a 17-year-old girl and a 21-year-old woman nearly a decade apart. Their bodies were found in the same field in 2017. Reporter Jackson Kurtz has more.
The love everyone has shown.
Tonight, 2 families finally receiving the news they've waited for.
You know, we're very thankful. Thankful for justice to come.
After a Cass County judge sentenced Kyler Yost to 15 years in prison, plus 30 years of life in prison for the deaths of Kara Kopetsky and Jessica Runyons.
Been a long time. Emotional time.
Yost was found guilty in the deaths of Kopetsky and Runyons in April. Inside the courtroom, prosecutors argued why Yost should serve the maximum sentence.
This man has never once taken responsibility for anything he did.
At one point in the sentencing, Yost and the judge went back and forth after Yost wouldn't answer his questions.
Have they done everything you asked them to do? Have you, did they refuse?
Are you my post-conviction counsel?
Have you been able to talk to them about your case over the last, I think, 4 years?
What do you think?
Any comment on the sentencing?
No.
Why'd you ask for a new trial? Yost's defense team ignoring questions after the sentencing.
Anything to say to the families?
But for the families of Runyons and Kopetsky, it was always about bringing the girls home after losing them too soon.
We won. They won.
We got our girls back. We got them back.
The judge says the sentences will be served back to back, meaning Yost is sentenced to 45 years in prison. Former Kansas City Chiefs assistant coach Britt Reed pleads not guilty to driving under the influence. He'll be back in court July 22nd. Reed, who is the son of Kansas City head coach Andy Reid, was part of a multi-vehicle crash in February. 2 children were hospitalized, including a 5-year-old girl who suffered a critical brain injury in the accident. Authorities say Reed was driving more than 80 miles per hour shortly before that crash. His blood alcohol content was also above the legal limit. The judge at yesterday's bond review ruled Reed can drive a vehicle once it's outfitted with a device that locks the ignition if his blood alcohol content is too high. Reed was initially placed on administrative leave after the incident, but his contract expired following the Chiefs' loss in the 2021 Super Bowl. The Oklahoma State Department of Health is deploying mobile wellness units statewide. OSDH says the vans will bring vital health services to underserved communities. Reporter Felice Romero toured one of the wellness vans.
The main thing is that we're wanting to take public health services out to all parts of Oklahoma.
OSDH is noticing certain parts of Oklahoma are being left behind when it comes to routine health care.
We're looking at particularly some areas that don't have a local county health department, or we know of some other areas where, there's just not a doctor's office or hospital anywhere close. So these folks, if they have to seek care, are having to drive maybe even a couple of hours.
With COVID-19 relief funding, the Oklahoma Department of Health now has 9 mobile wellness vans that are providing COVID-19 vaccines to 9 districts. Each district has 1 large unit and 2 small vans.
We want to be visible and available to any organization that's doing any kind of planning, but we're also taking it upon ourselves to find venues. So we hope to be going to schools, parks, all different types of community events.
Soon, people will be able to get physicals, health screenings, women's wellness checks, and more.
WIC, nutrition services, family planning, those types of services.
Andrea Smith, the nurse practitioner who will be providing services for District 2, says these services have been needed for years.
Well, currently they're free services. I think they're probably going to work to make them more of a sliding scale clinic.
To find out where these wellness vans are going to be, visit OSDH's website or the Facebook page. A final check on weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran, Technician 4th Class Donald Friedrich Sr. The Chanute, Kansas native served in the U.S. Army during World War II. Fought with the 24th Infantry Division. And we are proud to salute Technician 4th Class Donald Friedrich Sr. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Let's take a final look at tonight's KOAM News Now Insta poll question. We're asking, do you think unvaccinated kids should wear masks when they return to school? 68%, more than 2/3 say no. This poll is now closed. Thank you for participating. Jordan Abbey joins us now with a look at what's coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Tonight at 9, going to catch up with a man who's becoming homeless for a week, hoping to better understand the needs of the homeless community. Also, cleanup begins after a tornado went through parts of Colorado. And how you can join Jeff Bezos on an upcoming space trip. A big hint here, you need money, and lots of it. That, of course, much more coming our way tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Jordan, thanks. Scientists say one of the largest dinosaurs on Earth lived down under. A fossilized skeleton nicknamed Cooper was discovered in Australia back in 2007, but paleontologists have just now scientifically described and named the species. It's estimated to have been about 21 feet tall, almost 100 feet long. Probably looked similar to the well-known Brachiosaurus. The reason it took scientists so long to put the pieces together is because, well, they literally had to do just that. Its massive bones were stored in museums hundreds of miles apart. Researchers had to scan each one and then use digital 3D technology to put them together and compare them to similar species. Quite a puzzle. The weather.
Not the tricky puzzle to figure this one out, and my apologies there. I should have had a 7-day up, but any storms out there this evening will fade away. We'll drop into the 60s tonight, back in the upper 80s tomorrow.
See you at 10. Let's take care of ourselves and each other and make it a great evening.